that we'll be having a conversation in regards to the campaign trail and so much more in regards to the preparedness for this year's election, which is just 4 days away. We've been talking about years, months. Now we're down to just a few days to the election. And I'll start by introducing my guest. Remember also that we still have our Twitter poll. We'd like you to chime in into that conversation. We're asking you about the attacks that we've seen on the judiciary by politicians. We're asking you if these attacks have been justified. That is our Twitter poll. We'd like to continue hearing what you have to say about that Twitter poll. Let me start introducing my guest so we can delve deeper into these conversations. And I'll start from my immediate left, Dr. Washington Makueni, not a newbie here on Kivumbi 2017. He is a political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. We also have David Osiani, who is a public policy consultant. Thank you for coming. We also have Alex Gatundu, a lawyer and a political analyst. And last but not least, we have Dismas Mukua, who is a political risk analyst. I'm telling you the titles today on this news desk. So serious. Okay, gentlemen, I want us to start from the remarks by President Uhuru Kenyatta, which have really created a conversation online. And Makudingo, I'm sure you've seen that. First of all, why is he hitting out on chiefs? I mean...
No, the president is not hitting out on chiefs. The chiefs are civil servants, employees of the government of the Republic of Kenya. Wamepewa pikipiki.
Yes.
Yeah, na serikali. The Jubilee administration has seen it fit to enhance their mobility by giving them motorbikes. And then they go to the ground and use the motorbikes to campaign for NASA or CORD or whatever it is political party they have. They are not employees of they are not employees of the county government. They're employees of the national government. In fact, by law, they should not be campaigning at all. So,
but we've seen CSs campaigning.
No, the law is also clear. The law is also clear that CSs and county executive committee members are exempt from the requirements of partisan politics. And it makes sense. It makes sense because these are people who are appointed either by the president or the governor to carry out, to implement their manifesto. So it makes sense for them to come back to Wananchi and say, you gave me this responsibility, you gave me this job, you gave me this amount of money, this is what I have done with it. Right. I don't see anything wrong with
There's
it.
Nothing wrong.
But for chiefs, it's in fact, for chiefs, the fact that a chief sits at the locational security and intelligence committee.
Just like
the CS for interior doesn't.
Let him just finish. I'm coming to you.
The fact that the chief sits at the locational, in fact, both the peace committee and the security committee at the location means that is the one person who should not be partisan. Is the one person everybody runs to. Your cow is stolen. Your husband has beaten you.
Yes,
now, can you imagine if they start implementing the law based on a NASA manifesto that doesn't even exist? And the president was right. He said that NASA, in fact, did not want them. And they have said this for the last 5 years, that they do not want the so-called provincial administration, now called National Government Administration Office. That, in fact, the first thing they'll do when they come in, they'll kick all of them out.
All right. So let's hear David's...
no, they're not being smart. I love it when Makueni wants to speak for both sides of the cheek, because Makueni doesn't want to first accept that the chiefs have their rights to affiliate themselves because it's a political season. Either way, they're going to vote. And so if the president has not been able to fire his cabinet secretaries, who the law stipulates must not be involved in politics. That's the law. And then now he wants to extend his frustration to the chiefs. It's unfortunate. I think the president has panicked. It looks to me, and it's very bad. He shouldn't have shown that. For an opponent, once you show you've panicked, then your opponent will beat you dry and out. And this lie that's being perpetuated by Makueni about NASA having said they would fight chiefs, I don't know when, because all I remember is that because the NASA leader was a champion for a new constitution, what he vouched for was to realign the provincial administration so that then they are devolved directly under and answerable to the governors, all right? Which I think is sensible.
All right.
So that we have different management units.
And it is not sensible.
The president's attack on chiefs yesterday was unfortunate. it doesn't look too good. I'd advise Cambridge Analytica, which is advising the Jubilee campaign team, to probably do better in handling him. And he doesn't seem to have taken his temper to school, which is unfortunate for a president.
All right. Alex, haven't we seen such statements from both sides, both from Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta over the last couple of months?
I think to start off, President Uhuru Kenyatta was merely restating the legal position. And I'm very glad that he knows the law, which he should, as the CEO of the country. The law is very clear. Chiefs are public servants. They are not supposed to engage themselves in active politics.
Isn't it double standards,
So,
really? Because we're seeing...
The KRA Commissioner General was the one heading Mount Kenya Foundation.
You had a piece of cherry. Let me have mine.
Sorry.
Now, on the issue of CS, I also want to correct you. CSs are exempt, so they're allowed by law.
Commissioner General KRA?
Of course not.
Thank you.
Of course not. That's obvious. That's straight law. So I want to make that perfectly clear. The CSs are allowed. Chiefs are not allowed. They are not exempted from politicking. So they are not supposed to be partisan. They are not supposed to politic. They can only exercise their political right under Article 38 of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya when they are voting, but not when they are carrying out their mandate as under the provincial administration. Then I also want to correct him. The position of ODM, because NASA never used to exist that time, the position of ODM during the bombers constitution-making process was always that we are going to scrap the entire provincial administration. But when PNU insisted that they must be retained, they struck a compromise that we are going to restructure. The word was restructure. Restructure the engineer, the provincial administration, so that it can align itself to the constitution that was supposed now to be promulgated, which is what happened. So the provincial administration is still there, for your information. It is still there, but it has been restructured and realigned in line with the constitution. All right, this must say, I'd like to get your comment on this.
Well, you know what the president has done, and this is a good conversation, is he's bringing Chapter 6 back to the conversation, and also discussing the Leadership and the Integrity Act. Are public servants supposed to participate in politics? No. But the politicians, in their wisdom or lack of it, came up with the Leadership and Integrity Act, which exempted the permanent cabinet secretaries and the county ministers. For them, they're allowed to engage in politics, which is unacceptable, because in a mature democracy like Kenya, the public service is not supposed to take a position, at least in public. You may not like the president, you may not like the opposition leader, but you're supposed to keep it to yourself. And when you're going to cast your ballot, you express yourself. Now, this one raises fundamental questions. If the provincial administration or the chiefs in Makueni were supporting Jubilee, would the President Kenyatta have raised the issue? Most unlikely, no.
Just like they're doing.
And right now, it's in the public space that all cabinet secretaries are active in the campaign for Jubilee. Most of the principal secretaries, parastatal heads, in fact, all political appointees are in the public campaign. So what the president got yesterday in Makueni was actually a test of his own medicine. Now, this brings the game to par, because NASA has been complaining that the principal secretaries, the parastatal heads, and everybody have been campaigning for Jubilee. And the president has dismissed it. He said these guys are envious. They should wait for their time for them to take office. So yesterday he had a very good test of his own medicine, but that one doesn't serve the nation at all. Because as we make progress, we should be able to discipline any public officer taking part in this partisan campaign, because that's unacceptable.
All right. We'll continue this conversation shortly. We'll delve deeper into the remarks of the president, but also just getting deeper also into the campaigns. And, you know, the politicians just have about maybe 2 days to finish up on their campaigns and their messaging to Kenyans. We'll be talking about that and IEBC's preparedness. That's coming up shortly. We'll take a break. Don't go away. Kivumbi 2017 continues shortly.